Live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 State of SBN Address. My name is Dr. Courtney Ray. I'm the president of the Society for Black Neuropsychology, and I am happy to welcome you to our address today. We wanted to share some of the great things that the SBN team has been doing for this past year, and also to give you a little bit of a taste of what's upcoming. Some exciting things are happening even as soon as this week, and we hope that you will be willing and ready to participate in them. And there are also some things that we want to get your help with. As members who are invested in SBN, we want you to be full participants and have this organization as it grows to represent you and do things that are important to you and vitally to our field. So, without further ado, I'd just like to first begin this evening by talking about our illustrious committee and letting you guys know who our members of the executive committee are. You all are probably very familiar with many of the individuals already. And so I want to make sure that they all get their recognition. Once again, you know my name. My name is Dr. Ray. We also have Dr. Kendra Anderson, who is our executive secretary, and she will be coming a little bit later on to share with you information about the things that she's been doing with the communications team and also some other upcoming events that we're going to be hosting. Dr. Valencia Montgomery is our director of research, and she's been doing a fabulous job as well in terms of getting papers out, helping our team to become more involved in research, not only in the field of neuropsych, but also collaborating with other ventures, with other fields to do some interdisciplinary research as well, and reaching out to our sister organizations to help have those things happen. Dr. Will McBride is our treasurer and also has been overseeing the MET committee as well with his fantastic team. And they have a lot of exciting things that they're going to be sharing with you. Our mentoring, speaking of our mentoring and education training committee, Akeisha Harley and Annie Reyes are two who have been in tandem working to make sure that MET is doing everything that it needs to be doing in order to serve the needs of our community and our membership. We have the Social Justice and Advocacy Committee, Dr. Evelyn Emerson, who is all the way on the extreme west. He's out in Hawaii, and he will be, however, sending one of his representatives, Dr. Leah Talbot, who's going to be talking to us a little bit later about what SJA committee does. We have our members at large, Dr. Ginka Reed and Kiera Mario, and they have been representing the membership at large and been invaluable parts of the executive committee. We thank them for their service, and also Bree Darbo, who is our student representative on the executive committee as well. And so I want to turn it over now to Dr. Anderson as she gives you guys some information about what the communications committee is up to and what you can expect from just some of the changes that have happened and things that'll be coming up pretty soon. So Dr. Anderson, welcome and thank you.
Thank you. So good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. So, some of this stuff may look a little familiar if you joined us through our social event, but I wanted to give a quick update about some of the resources you may have at your disposal as a member and some of the changes that have come up for us so far. So, you may or may not know that we recently updated our website. And there are several features of the website. So I really encourage everyone to, if you haven't already done so, go around and peruse our new website. One of the things that you will find that as a member, what you have access to is our SBN directory. And so once you sign in as a member, it will give you access to add your information there in the directory for advertising purposes. So we've already had a number of our members already add their information to the front-facing directory. We get emails to our personal Gmail account, all the time from, people in the community asking for the contact information for neuropsychologists in their area. So please, if you're a member and you have not yet, and you're a clinician, a practicing clinician, and you have not yet entered your practice information into the SBN directory, we urge you to do so. We're also adding new things to our, membership resources. So, for example, the intersectionality series that we've worked in conjunction with ANA and HNS and QNS, those videos are stored on our website. We hope to, Akeisha will be, or Dr. Harley, she'll be talking a bit more about later us pursuing our CE application. And so our CE events and many things that we have coming down the pipeline, they will all go on our website. So we really encourage you to do that. Next, I did want to highlight our listserv. So our listserv is web-based. So if you are a member and you do not have access to our listserv, please send us an email. I will show you the email addresses here in just a second so we can manually add you to the listserv so you can stay up to date with SBN announcements. And because it is web-based, once you join the listserv, you can go back and you can look at old messages. So the listserv, as well as our Twitter account, they're fantastic ways to stay up to date with SBN news. If you go to the next slide, as I mentioned, SBN is growing, and so we've kind of expanded our our ways to contact us so that we can be more efficient. So if you have questions about, your membership status, how to be a member, anything dealing with membership, you would want to contact our membership committee at membership@soblackneuro.org. We are in the process of pursuing kind of our APA CE sponsorship. And so once we get that off the ground, Akeisha will talk about that more. You can email any questions about continuing education at SBN_CE@soblackneuro.org. Mentorship and training questions can go to mentorship@soblackneuro.org. Anything regarding communications, our listserv, how to stay in contact with our organization, promotional materials, all of those things can go to communications@soblackneuro.org. And then for our upcoming symposium this week, if you have questions or concerns, you can email sbnsymposium@soblackneuro.org. And that's all I have for you all. Oh, last thing, I did want to give just a very brief teaser. So we are hoping to kind of bring back our Luminary series that was postponed last year. And we're hoping to redo that at INS this year in February. We also have some associated awards. So I would stay on the lookout for our Luminary series awards. The calls will be going out around October. And we hope to do the Luminary series in conjunction with INS this year. All right, that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson. We appreciate
Absolutely.
you sharing that information with us. And now we have some great information from our MET committee. As I said, they have some amazing things that are coming up, even as quickly as this week. And so we want to make sure that you guys are informed of that and that you recognize what is going to be happening. And I'm going to ask Annie Reyes and to come and talk to us about what is happening with our MET committee. So thank you so much, Annie, for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited. We have some excited events coming up this week. Also, if you don't mind adding Will as well, if possible, as he has some updates to give from the Education Subcommittee. So regarding our symposium, so many of you have seen emails on social media that we're having our first inaugural symposium happening this Friday. As well as other programs that we are currently working on, including some continued education, which I'll speak on behalf of Dr. Akisha Harley, and as well the SBN Ambassador Program with New to Neuropsychology. But we want to spend some time providing a little bit of overview of what the symposium is going to look like, where to register, as well as a bit of information regarding our speakers. Next slide. So the symposium, here we have the planning committee. We'll be been working really hard for the past months since last year, putting together a list of invited speakers, including Dr. Tony Stringer, who will be our keynote speaker, Dr. Mnet Gamada, who's a rising star, Dr. Vanetta Dotson, and Dr. Relisa Johnson, who will be giving a presentation regarding to subspecialties in neuropsychology. So regarding this Friday, so we will be having these, next slide, please. We'll be having a welcoming event in the morning. So this is starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 a.m. Pacific Time. The first we'll have Dr. Stringer give the keynote presentation where he will be speaking about the neuropsychological battery for sub-Saharan Africa, including its development, validation, application in Africa and America. And then after that, we'll be having some events that are both for trainees as well as for professionals. So, well, Dr. Vanetta Dotson will start it off. And then during the same time, we do have an event for neuropsychology students or students who are interested in applying to neuropsychology programs who are not at the stage of receiving CE credits. So students are welcome to attend Dr. Dotson's talk or attend the What is Neuropsychology student session. Next slide. Then after that, we'll be having a 30-minute break, a lunch break for those on Pacific time, and those for Eastern time, a little bit of break for coffee. And then after that, we'll be followed by Dr. Johnson having a pediatric talk and disparities in epilepsy. And we'll be also continuing the student session during that time as well. After that, we have some poster presentations that some students submitted some incredible abstracts, followed by a break, and then the Rising Star presentation by Dr. Gamada and her closing remarks. So it's a full day virtual symposium. So we really hope that everyone joins us on Friday. You are welcome to register now, but you'll be able to register all the way up to the evening before. Next slide. So just a little bit about, just to show a bit of an information about our speakers. You could find this information as well as on our website, including the speaker's description of their presentation and their bios. Next slide. And then Dr. Kamada will be giving her Rising Star presentation, focusing on approaching health disparities research through a healing center engagement. Dr. Dotson will be talking about powering the Black community to live a brain healthy lifestyle. Should be focused a lot in terms of what are some of the things that older adults in Black communities could do to have a more healthy behaviors and implement these to reduce the risk of cognitive impairment later on in life. And then Dr. Johnson, as I mentioned, will be discussing disparities and considerations in Black children with epilepsy. Next slide. So in terms of prices, we have different prices. We have prices for non-members. So if you're not a member of SBN or a member, we also have member prices for members of the National Academy of Neuropsychology who are partners for the symposium in terms of the C credits. So if you're a member of NAN, you will also have the ability to sign up with the prices for SBN members. So if you want to, if you're not an SBN member yet, and you would like to take advantage of the SBN symposium member prices, feel free to join us. However, in terms of non-member prices, it's $225 for the CE 5 CE package, but we also have We also have also a fee for those who just want to attend the symposium but not receive CE credits. And then there are different prices for students at different trainees at different levels, and then undergrads who are SBN members who will be able to attend for free. Next slide. All right, so then in terms of education, I'm not sure if Will is on. If he wants to provide an overview, but we have some exciting program for the education subcommittee that involves some grant funding that was received. So we'll take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes. My name is Dr. Will McBride, co-founder, treasurer, and co-chair for the MET committee. So as Dr. Reyes spoke, and if you can hear in the background, my daughter is watching Sesame Street, so I do apologize for the educational, well, I guess it is an educational perspective right now as I talk about the education subcommittee. So one of the things that I want to highlight with the education subcommittee is that through one of our grant funding opportunities, we received allocated monies or funds to purchase neuropsychology related textbooks. And so one of the things that we recognize is that in order for neuropsychology as a field to become more equitable in many different ways, we have to provide opportunities for students and trainees to have access to those textbooks. If many of you all are aware, remember back to when you were starting out in grad school and you saw that bill for the 3 to 4 to 5 textbooks that you were required for a course. That amount can be overwhelming. And so one of the things we want to do is help to provide opportunities to just put books in the hands of students and trainees who would otherwise not be able to get those books. So one of the things that we've done is through our mentorship program, we have given away books to students who requested them. And we have a number of different types of books that from introductory neuropsychology books that talk about how to become a neuropsychologist, just the kind of path that one has to take, the roadmap to becoming a clinical neuropsychologist, to even more advanced books like Blumenfeld, Neuroanatomy and Clinical Cases. And so we're very excited about that, to continue creating those opportunities. We also are doing a lot of fundraising, and part of the symposium's goal is to create scholarships for dissertation and internship fees. And so that's one of the other aspects of education that we want to focus on, and just continue that path and making putting textbooks in the hands of students, and particularly for undergrads who might not be exposed to neuropsychology in their undergraduate program, or even in just their PhD or PsyD training program. So I think next will be Akeisha, who will probably talk about some of the great things that we're doing regarding training.
All right, thank you, Dr. McBride. And just to kind of let students know, to become a member of SBN, as what Dr. McBride was describing, having these books, they are very costly. So one of the benefits of being a student training member of SBN is having access to these opportunities. So I will be talking. Dr. Hartley won't be able to join today, but I'm going to go ahead, provide a little bit of an overview of what her subcommittee has been working on. So in the past year, SBN has partnered with other organizations, including HNS, ANA, and QNS, to host talks and seminars, and they plan to continue this upcoming year. They hosted 4 series this year in March during Brain Awareness Week for the community, providing psychoeducation on the relationship between cognition, physical, emotional, and spiritual health, as well as the importance of recruiting and engaging Black communities in research. And then this coming year, the subcommittee plans to continue hosting talks and seminars with and without continued education credits, including considerations in mandated reporting, using an anti-racist framework when working with Black patients with dementia and their caregivers, as well as a discussion of substance use disorders in older adults. So these 2 talks are planned for the fall and winter of 2022, and they're currently working on creating more CE Talk seminars for the upcoming year. So very exciting opportunities for continued education and just training in general within this subcommittee.
Thank you so much to both Dr. Reyes and Dr. McBride for giving us the highlights of things that are coming up. As you can see on the screen, there's also a lot of things that they've already done in the past. The MET committee has been hard at work. It has been one of the most successful in terms of bringing out events for our student population and membership. And so we want to just celebrate all of the accomplishments of the MET committee and seeing all the great things that they have done, and looking forward to all of these upcoming seminars, not just focused on our trainees, but also for our professional members as well. We want everyone who is a member of SBN to be committed to continuing their own professional growth and knowing that SBN can be a resource and help in that. And the mentorship program has done so many great things. It's in its second year already. It's like time flies. And I know that we had almost 100 participants last year. I'm not sure exactly how many mentorship in participants we have this year, but it is truly a successful program, and we are so glad for all of the people who have been involved. At this time, we're going to be talking about our Social Justice and Advocacy Committee, which is also a very hardworking committee. And I want to invite Dr. Leah Talbert to come and to share what they have been doing and what we can be expecting from the SJA committee pretty soon.
Thanks, Dr. Ray. So for the Social Justice and Advocacy Committee, one of the most important things that we're working on right now is really a statement on the gun violence crisis that we've been seeing rapidly affecting our communities. And the stream of horrific mass shootings has really struck places intended to be welcoming spaces, therefore shattering communities' sense of safety. And these shootings have forced communities to confront the anxiety, pain, and fear caused by another violent act, increasing that burden of generational trauma. Now, we want to make a point to state that gun violence is a public health crisis, and the trauma and fear caused by mass shootings significantly worsen Americans' mental health. Just in the past few decades, many prominent psychologists of color have studied the effects of racial trauma and how it leads to higher rates of depression, anxiety, and stress. It also has been linked to post-traumatic stress disorder and other serious psychological conditions. We understand that violence is rooted in racism, and hate has become much too common in our society. African American adults and Hispanic adults are more likely than white non-Hispanic adults to say they don't know how to cope with the stress they feel due to these mass shootings. So that's 44% of Hispanic adults and 43% of African American adults compared to 30% of white adults. But even more so, Black adults are more likely to feel that they or someone they know will be a victim of a mass shooting. And that's 60% compared with 41% of white adults and 50% of Hispanic adults. These experiences of racism build on each other and over time really chip away at the emotional, physical, and spiritual resources of people of color. Once again, mass shootings are a public health issue, and we need to take a comprehensive public health approach to understand and devise lasting policy solutions. It's so important that people and policymakers realize that it's not an insurmountable issue. It's something that we do have the power to change. Another really important aspect of the Social Justice and Advocacy Committee is that last installment of our intersectionality series. So we've talked a lot about this series, and I'm sure that you've seen a lot of information about the series, but really, this is really great because it's one of the first collaborations between the Asian Neuropsychological Association, our society, the Hispanic Neuropsychological Society, and Queer Neuropsychological Society. And so far, we've already gone through 3 presentations that have talked about just an introductory understanding of the intersectionality approach to social change, policy, and practice. And then we kind of built on that understanding with the relevance of intersectionality and supervision and training experiences. And then our last installment really looked at integrating intersectionality into clinical practice. So development of interventions, recommended treatments, and diagnostic considerations. So this last installment is really going to look at applications of intersectional approach in research. And we have a fantastic presentation planned by Dr. Paris Atkins Jackson. And she's going to be talking specifically about embodying equity while performing data analyses, which is incredibly important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Talbert. We are looking forward to the last installment of our intersectionality series, as well as all of the other very important social justice things that the SJA committee is prioritizing for our society. Because like you said, all of these things are not just issues that are, lots of people want to think that it's just political or different things like that, but this is a public health issue and we are part of public health. So thank you so much for all the work that SJA is doing. And we want to continue to not just look inward at how we can help our profession and our field, but we want to, just as SJA is doing, emphasize how we can reach out to our communities and really make a difference in different policies. And you can be a part of that as an SBN member. You can help this organization do the things that we prioritize in reaching out to the rest of the world. You can help this organization to be exactly what is needed in 2022 and 2023 and beyond, as we seek to make sure that we're doing what we can to lend our voices, lend our professional skills to all of the different issues that we see in our nation today. And so you can be a part of that by being an officer. You can serve on a committee as an SBN member. You got to be a member to do it. So we hope that if you are watching this and you have not yet renewed your membership, that you will do so. You just go to the website. And then if you have been a member, we want you to consider participating in our upcoming elections. So in September, we will begin call for nominations for different offices, and you'll be getting more information about that. You can nominate someone who is an SBN member who you think is very adept and skilled in various areas and whose proficiencies you think will definitely be a boon to our organization as a whole, because this is not just the organization of the executive committee, it's all of our organization, right? And so we want to make sure that everyone feels ownership of SBN and that you know that your voice is important. So if you or someone you know you think can be of service to SBN in an officer capacity, we want to invite you to nominate that individual or self-nominate. If you say, hey, you know what, I think that there are valuable things that I can add to this organization, and I think that I'm in a position to be able to serve, I want to encourage you to please self-nominate as well. So we will be opening that up in September. Voting will take place over November, December, and our new officer terms will begin in February. Also in February, we are going to be having INS. Fingers crossed, it will be in person. You know that this past INS was supposed to be in person in New Orleans. Unfortunately, because of COVID, that didn't happen. And so there are many SBN members who have never met each other face to face. There's some even in the executive committee who have never met each other face to face. And so we're looking forward to hopefully meeting one another in INS in San Diego this next February. And during that time, we will have our formal transition of our new officer team. We will also be having the S. Walden Miller Luminaries Series and Awards that Dr. Anderson talked about earlier on. And so you will be getting more information about that in October to get individuals that you think would be, that you want to nominate for those awards as well. And so you have time to apply if you feel that you meet the criteria for those awards, or if you have somebody that you would like to nominate for those awards, be on the lookout for that. And then we will be having our Luminary Series dinner. So as you know, the Luminary Series was renamed in honor of S. Walden Miller, who has been a trailblazer as a mentor and researcher in our field. And so he has done so many great things, including the Heaton norms. I struggle always to say the Heaton norms because it's not really the Heaton norms, because Dr. Miller and others have been integral in making sure that these norms are created. And so the demographically adjusted norms that we use in terms of adjusting for race was a collaboration of many individuals who went into the community, and Dr. Miller was a huge key component of that. And sometimes people's names get lost in our oral traditions and histories, but we want to make sure that Dr. Miller is no longer a hidden figure, but that people know about what he has done, how he has helped shape this field, how he has helped mentor others who are luminaries in this field, and we want to honor that. Dr. Miller is no longer with us. However, his family, his children, his wife are excited to be able to see this come to fruition, to honor their husband and father, to be able to celebrate with us. And so if you are a person who knows about Dr. Miller's legacy, if you've been touched by it, all of us have, we're going to encourage you to be a part of that in celebration as we meet together, like I said, in February, and also honor his legacy, honor our luminaries and the award winners that will be announced in 2023, and have some time of fellowship and fun, meeting each other, some of us for the first time, some of us for the first time in a long time. But we hope that in whatever ways we can, we'll be able to make those connections real if we come together in February in San Diego. And so we hope that even now, you're making preparations for that. It seems like a far way off, but February is just around the corner. We're already halfway through 2022. So 2023 will be here once you know it, in the blink of an eye. And so we want to just thank you so much. If you have been a member that has participated in the different events, we want to encourage you to continue participating and bring someone else along. If you are a student, if you are a trainee, if you are early career or even later career, we want to be able to provide something for you that can help you in your professional growth and development as a clinician. And so we hope that SBN can be a part of making sure that your career is what you want to make it, and help us help you. Share with us any of the things that you have as suggestions for what you want this organization to be, how you want us to reach out to the community, or how you want us to be a better help to the professional field. Give us an email. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on what is now called Meta, which is IG and Facebook. And we also have, of course, our website that you can contact us on. We're all ears. We want to be able to be of service. We want to make sure that you know that SBN is your organization too. And we want to thank you for tuning in today. If you are not watching this live, if you're watching this on the rebroadcast, we hope that you will be able to take down the notes of the upcoming things that will be happening, and that you will put it in your calendar to make sure that you are there. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a good night.